Hey, how's it going? My name is Summer Meyers, and today we are talking about music appreciation in your homeschool. So when I embarked on this journey on how do I incorporate music more into my homeschool, I threw out a couple of ideas. I was like, maybe we'll get a book because I feel like that's always my answer. We'll just go get a book and read about music. And yes, books can take you so far and you can read about composers or whatever. And I thought, well, maybe we'll just listen to music. And I'm like, but I don't even know where to start. What music do I even go to? Do I just go on Spotify or, like I had no idea where to even start. So I came across these CDs. This is the Maestro Classics CD. And these are fabulous. I don't know. Can you guys see those okay? So this is the Nutcracker and it comes in a set of, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So the Maestro Classic CDs, these come in a set of 12. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3. They have all these really great classical musical stories that you think about and are like, oh yeah, that was a really good one. Let's pull that up. What I love about these is that it tells a story. So pretty much all of them have a storyline that goes with the music, and they have a narrator, and while the music is playing, he tells the story, and you can hear the story from the music because he's talking about it. As he's talking about it, you can hear where it is going and how it is building. And I really appreciate that because as somebody who is unfamiliar, not as familiar as I would like to be, when we're listening to the music just by itself without the narrator, you can pull those bits and go, oh, look, this is the bit that we talked about earlier. I think that's super valuable in the untrained ear, and it's really easy to follow. It makes my job a lot easier rather than just pulling it straight from, something that I found on Google Play or whatever. So after they narrate this story and after you've listened to the music, they typically have an about the composer little bit or about the poem or about the story. And they elaborate a little bit more about the background for it. And this gives it the more of the cerebral. It's less about emotion. It's less about music. It just gives the children a bit of something to listen to that helps them connect a particular person or a particular story with the piece of music. And I think they do a really good job with it. I do wish that they went a little deeper into it, but as a parent, I can do that myself. So we've borrowed library books based on my children's interest to pursue it. So I think it teases enough that they feel satisfied if they're, if that's what they want to hear, or it gives them the push to be like, well, wait a minute, I'd like more. So it does feed that soul of I'm interested, I'd like to pursue knowing more about this particular person or about this particular story or about this particular music. I think the CDs do a really good job overviewing all of it. I think the CDs also do a really good job at pointing out particular parts in the storyline, and so saying, this is the part where they do this, or do you hear the wolf when they're talking about Peter and the wolf? You can hear him creeping through the snow. Or do you hear Peter? He's out walking around. And then when they're listening to just the music, they remember it and they can point out and be like, oh, I know this part. This is what's happening. And that's what's so beautiful about music, is that it triggers those memory inflections, and I think it's fabulous. I think they do such a good job. Inside each CD, they have a little booklet, just like a regular typical CD does, but they have usually a sketch of the composer. They have a couple of fun word puzzles or little worksheets that you can do. They are rather small because they're CD size, but I would photocopy them on my printer, maybe blow it up a little bigger, and I would set them out for my kids, and they could do the worksheets or do the little word exercises while they're listening to the music. And I thought that was really neat and really clever thing to do. One thing I wish they had more of in these CDs were more classical pieces. A couple of the CDs were composed by the orchestra themselves. They're not classical pieces of music. However, I do find them still valuable because they are an interesting story, but they're and they convey this idea that you don't have to be old and dead to write beautiful music, to come up with your own story and more to come up with your own story through music. And I think that's inspiring and good for kids, and they can learn a valuable lesson from that as well. I'll link these down in the description box. They are rather pricey because there are 12 CDs in them. They're not cheap, but I found them super valuable. But not only that, if you don't want to get all of them, which I completely understand, and the price does fluctuate quite a bit. I was watching it throughout the year. You could absolutely just get away with buying 1 or 2 CDs at a time. All right, so my favorite CDs are Peter and the Wolf, The Nutcracker, Carnival of the Animals, and Swan Lake. And those are the CDs that my children really enjoyed. They loved listening to the music, and they referenced them throughout our day. They were the ones that they frequently said, hey, can we just pop that in real quick and listen to it? So how we use it is we listen to it when we're doing arts and crafts. I get our art lesson all going, and then while they're heavy into it and painting or cutting and gluing or whatever, I'll put the music CD in, and it's really easy for them to just listen to. It's quiet and it's peaceful, and it's helps that creative flow and process. So we love doing it during that time. I'll put it in when I'm making lunch. So technically our school hour is done by lunchtime, although it's not always the case. And I'll just pop it in while I'm making lunch. And sometimes they'll be sticking around finishing up word problems or reading a book on the couch or whatever. And it's just relaxing music that they can listen to. And sometimes they request the ones that they want to listen to versus the one that we are working through or practicing that week. And I'm okay with that. So we haven't listened to all of these CDs. There's 12 of them. We've listened to about 6 of them, I would say. And I have been taking my time with it, mostly because I want them to be so familiar with them that they are confident and comfortable in recognizing them when they're just playing on the radio, and also so that they can request their favorites. I want them to have a real appreciation for it rather than just buzz through it and say, okay, check that off, we got it done. There are a lot of them, so I don't feel this pressure to just zip through it, if that makes sense. It also opens up a lot of different avenues of, okay, so we've learned a lot about this particular composer or this particular piece of music. What else is associated with that music? What else did this composer write? And they're interested and they catch patterns. They're like, oh, this is like the Carnival of the Animals. This is familiar. Or, oh, Tchaikovsky, I remember him. He wrote the Nutcracker. And oh, look, he's also done this. And it helps cement those patterns of music. The thing that I love most about these CDs is that it's an excellent basic introduction to great musical pieces that we're all familiar with, but not necessarily know how to teach. I think it just lays it out very easily to follow as a parent and as just a homeschooler in general. So that's my review for Maestro Classics. Let me know in the comments, how do you guys do music appreciation in your home? I'm interested to figure out what else we can do after this unit, what more we can pursue. I'm sure there's so many good ideas and good resources out there, and I would love to hear them. So if you have anything, let me know down in the comments below. And please subscribe, like this video. See you later. Oh, I'm tired. That's not how it goes. All right. I think I got one of those good. All right. So what was I saying? All right. Really? Do not disturb. Ah. Do you need something? What? Yes, if you're a little quiet. Can you clear off the table first and make it clean? Okay. See you later. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Katie Pat. Can you go get me a big glass of water? Okay. All right, go help Catherine. Or Abby. Go help Juliet. She's also getting the kinetic sand out. But I wish it had more. Girls, come on, help me out here. Classical music. And I think I'm done. La la la.